What's up, badass nerds? Are you afraid of the dark? Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, a book that haunted my childhood and kept me up at night. 20-ish years later, and it has managed to do it again. Bravo, you sneaky son of a bitch. I went to see this movie the day after it was released with my best friend K-pop, the one I'm always talking about, who isn't afraid of anything. We were celebrating her birthday with lunch and a movie, so of course she got to pick the movie because it was for her birthday, so... just gross. I went into this movie with extremely low expectations. Kayla really wanted to see it, so I thought, fuck it. At the very least, it would bring me a feeling of nostalgia. I suppose I didn't pay much attention to the ads and trailers on YouTube because I didn't know what to expect from this movie. But in all honesty, it kind of blew me away. I didn't watch any reviews of this movie because I didn't want somebody else's opinion to affect mine. But I did look up its score on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was pleased to find that it was at a respectable 80%. Suck it, K-pop. The premise of the movie was a work of creative genius, if you ask me. I wasn't sure how they were going to take a book of stories that had nothing to do with each other, and turn it into a cohesive tale. But the way they did it was bloody brilliant, Meg. I won't do that again, I'm sorry. So this movie is set in the late 60s in a small town. This town has a dark and mysterious past having to do with the wealthy family that owns the paper mill that put Mill Valley, the town, on the map. And it was a source of all their money and jobs and shit and whatever and blah de blah fucking blah. This family was the Bellows family. And the Bellows family was said to have a daughter who was locked away in a dungeon-like room downstairs in their mansion, and she was never allowed to leave, and she was never seen by anybody. As of now, it's 1968, and Bellows family lived 60 years ago or some shit like that. So, a group of friends, a drifter, a sister, and a bully find themselves in this now haunted mansion that was the Bellows family mansion on Halloween night. So this group finds the secret room where Sarah Bellows was kept and lived. And the main character of the movie, Stella, this dumb bitch, finds Sarah Bellows' book of scary stories that she hand wrote, that she was said to have told children that came to the mansion. She told them the stories through the wall. Stella, the dumb bitch, takes this book, which awakens the spirit of Sarah Bellows, and she's fucking pissed. The book begins to write stories by itself once a night, right before Stella's eyes. God damn it. The book begins to write stories once a night on its own, right before Stella's eyes, and the stories that it writes actually are happening to the characters and come to life. And the book starts picking the teens off one by one with different monsters and myths every night. Some based on the characters' greatest fears. Fucking sick. Like, I don't know how they came up with this concept to put all these stories together, but like, it's genius. Like, I don't know how Kayla was disappointed by this movie, like, but I'll get into that. It's not straight and it's really annoying. No, it's not even straight, but this thing. Yeah. This movie had me on the edge of my seat. Metaphorically, of course, because otherwise I'd fall on my face, but I digress. I'm so stupid and corny and I hate myself. Most horror movies have a central theme or villain that we begin to look out for from the start, but Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark has numerous monsters and urban legends, and you never know what's coming next and who is going to pick off next. In most movies, you know what or who is going to be killing the people. Like in the Chucky movies, you know Chucky's going to be the one murdering the people. Or Nightmare on Elm Street, you know that Freddy Krueger is going to be the one killing everybody. Like, so on and so forth. But you don't know in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. You don't know what's coming next, and it's so epic. Maybe I didn't pay much attention to the movie's trailers, because if I had, I would have seen all of these.
You don't...
But I'm glad I spaced out a little when the trailers were playing as ads before my YouTube videos, because my genuine surprise was kind of the best part. This movie was PG-13, and come to think of it, I don't remember there being any gore in the entire thing. So, somehow though, it managed to frighten me and keep me completely enthralled even without the cursing, sex, nudity, and violence of a normal rated R horror movie. Being disgusted and nauseous by the sight of disembowelments or eye gougings is not the same as fear. Another thing about the movie that made me viscerally and physically uneasy was the loud and drawn out shrieks and screams when you least expect it. That though might just be me, because I am extremely sensitive to soul-piercing loud noises.
Loud noises!
Gotta love childhood trauma. My problems with this movie definitely don't outweigh my enjoyment of it, but if I had to tell you what bothered me, it would be these two things. Number one, they killed off the interesting characters and left the boring, forgettable characters alive. Now I know they had to kill off some of the group, but why did it have to be the funny, charismatic ones? Why leave the drab, depressing people alive? Why does the quote-unquote hero have to be such an absolute yawn fest every single time? The brooding sad sacks with a dark past are always the ones left alive. Of course, that's just my personal opinion, but as Eugene of the Try Guys would say,
I'm right, you're wrong, shut up.
Stella is the dumb bitch who takes the book from the house and angers the spirit of Sarah Bellows. The other people that happen to be in the mansion with her at the time have literally no clue that she does this. So why the literal fuck does Sarah Bellows start killing off everyone except this dumb bitch Stella? We find out in the first 5 minutes that Stella is going to survive the whole thing, so it's not a spoiler. Calm the fuck down. I guess when I really think about it, this is a common theme in a lot of horror movies. The main character does something dumb as shit, and everyone but them pays for it. Y'all writers gotta rethink your plots, because this BS is getting real old real fast. But those are the only 2 things that disappointed me about the movie. Oh, that and draft dodgers go to prison. They don't just get a second chance to go back into the service once they've been found out. Fuck. That won't make sense to you until or unless you see the movie. I just had to get that out. As a whole, though, I think the movie did the books justice. I won't pretend to remember every single story in the book. In fact, the 2 stories that I remember really, really well aren't even in the movie. But I believe the film captured the creepy and disturbing essence of this story collection. I remember there being these creepy illustrations in the book. They were extremely unsettling for some reason. The monsters in the movie had the same eerie, uncomfortable look about them. The kind of thing nightmares are made of. The kind of thing that you can't put into words how just physically uncomfortable it makes you feel. Even without the blood and the gore. K-pop, or Kayla, as everybody else calls her, felt the complete opposite way about the film. She had extremely high expectations and felt let down about the execution of the movie. So here's her making fun of me.
I was highly disappointed. I went into it with high hopes, and I was actually bored halfway through it. I had to fight not to fall asleep. I didn't think it was scary. I thought it was boring, if anything. And yeah, I'm disappointed. So yeah, Danielle is a bitch. Anything remotely scary scares her out of her skin. She thought it was horrifying. And I was yawning. So, yeah, she's just a sissy. Sissy when it comes down to it, sissy.
Rude.
So, yeah.
Rude. Thanks for that, Kay. Love you too. I highly recommend this movie. It's nostalgic and creepy, and it made me leave the theater wondering what was gonna get me and when. Wondering which of my fears was gonna come to life and swallow me up. Actually, when we got out of the movie, it was dark and stormy and raining. That creeped me the fuck out a little bit. Yeah, so you should see this movie. Like, fucking Kayla has too high of expectations of, like, all things. Movies, anyway. I didn't really have any expectations, so maybe because of that, it was so good to me, but I don't care. It's good. Watch it. It's gonna be one of those movies that we remember and becomes a cult classic. I can just feel it. Oh, and there will be a second movie because of the ending. Because the characters that get picked off don't die. They just kind of disappear in like weird ways. I can't explain it without giving shit away, so just know that there's gonna be a second one because Stella, the dumb bitch who started all of this, is gonna try to find her friends that she cursed with her dumb bitchiness. So, like this video if you liked it, or like this video if you saw the movie and thought it was awesome. And comment below how wrong Kayla is for not liking the movie. And subscribe to my channel. I can't sing that song, it's not mine, but subscribe. And I'm Hyper, and click the bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling, so you can be notified when I post. I'm gonna put my other Scaredy-Cat horror reviews right here, and then right here, and I'll like whatever YouTube thinks you're gonna like, or whatever. And keep being badass, keep being nerdy. Much love, and peace out, y'all.